Move, bitch. You got coronavirus. Move. Get out the way. You got coronavirus. I've had that song stuck in my head ever since I've watched that video. Well, if you haven't seen that video on YouTube, on Facebook, probably on YouTube too, dude, go watch it. Hey there, English speakers. Jesse here from Sweet Academy. Welcome to another language breakdown where I take a video on YouTube and break it down and break down the language so you can, number one, understand the video more deeply and more completely, and number two, so you can put these fluent expressions, vocabulary, and ways of speaking in your English so you can sound more fluent, because that's the goal, isn't it? And what a better time to study online than now that you are stuck at home, right? Putting a good twist, putting a positive twist on a difficult situation, you know, and I just hope that I can help a little bit for those that are watching. But, you know, one thing that's easy to do is focus on the negatives and focus on and really be brought down because we're stuck in the house. We don't really know what's going on. A lot of us can't make a living right now, and you know, pressure and stress is just, I mean, we're stuck in the house a lot of the times with our families, and you know how family works. We love them, but we can drive each other crazy too. Can I get an amen? But what are you thankful for? You know, there are many things still to be thankful for. Just a few that are off the top of my head, good fluent expression off the top of my head is, well, for one, we're here, you know. I am here with my family, even though, you know, we drive each other crazy. We're still here with our families. We're not stuck alone. Maybe if you are stuck alone, maybe that's something to be thankful for. I'm thankful that I have this to occupy my time and my energies. I'm thankful that the earth itself is seeming to get a little breather. It's seeming to get a little rest and time to breathe, right? Have you seen the satellite pictures of the air pollution clearing up over China and over Italy and soon to be over other places in the world? That's something to be thankful for. And I'm thankful that we're all kind of going through this together. It's something that seems to be bringing us together until now. And that's something to be thankful for. But enough of that. Let's get into the language breakdown. And today I have a video, a motivational video. I came across this YouTube channel. It's called, let's see what it's called. I forget. Ben Lionel Scott. Of course, I'll put the link in the description box below. And he just makes collaboration videos for motivation, inspiration, commitment, which we're getting into today. When you start something, how to finish it when you start it, how to finish the race, right? It's not good enough just starting the race. We need to finish the race. And that's what we're talking about today. And his videos are short. They're under 4 minutes long, or around 4 minutes long. Very short. He combines different people's motivational speeches in the theme and puts some cool inspirational music behind it. And it makes for an awesome little package. It has some motivational video. Well, you'll see it. Let me move over here. Let me shut up. Let me move over here so you can see the video, so you can see what's going on. I need to get a more powerful computer. Little by little, my precious. We're going to go over some expressions, some vocabulary, and by the way, if you need some motivation and some inspiration, I will put this link in the description box below so you can watch it all together in one lump sum after we go over the expressions together. Let's start.
I want to be the person that is the first person there and the last person to leave, because I think that the road to success is through commitment and through the strength to drive through that commitment when it gets hard. And it is going to get hard.
Okay, wait, some awesome lessons here already. So a great metaphor, the road to success, right? We use that. So you can use that. The road to success. The road, we can also use the word path, the path to success, but this is a Will Smith talking here. The road to success.
The road to success.
The road to success. You follow me. The road to success. The road to success.
Person there and the last person to leave, because I think that the road to success is through commitment.
Through or by, right? But he says through. So let's copy this. The road to success is through commitment. The road to success is through commitment. Now listen again and we'll continue.
I think that the road to success is through commitment and through the strength to drive through that commitment.
To drive through. To drive through is like to persevere, right? To drive through that commitment. To drive through that commitment. To drive through that commitment. To drive through. To follow through. To continue. To finish. To push through. Those are all good ways to put it.
When it gets hard. And it is
push through something when it gets hard. That's where it comes from, right? You get the idea of like an obstacle or a barrier. When you push through, right, you continue.
And through the strength to drive through that commitment when it gets hard. And it is going to get hard and you're going to want to quit sometimes, but it'll be colored by who you are and more who you want to be.
It'll be colored by another great, it'll be colored by who you are and who you want to be.
Be colored by who you are and more who you want to be.
You can only have two things in life, reasons or results. Notice, reasons don't count.
Notice, reasons don't count. You can only have two things in life, reasons and results. Reasons here meaning excuses, right? Reasons or results. Reasons don't count. Reasons, no, right? Doesn't count. Don't count.
Reasons or results. Notice, reasons don't count.
When you're committed to an outcome, there are no excuses. There are no stories. There are no reasons not to achieve it. But if you're interested in an outcome, you will do what's convenient.
An outcome, by the way, is the result. An outcome. An outcome. If you're interested in an outcome, an outcome is a result.
But if you're interested in an outcome, you will do what's convenient. You'll come up with excuses, stories, reasons to support your convenience desire. And so here's my question for you. Are you interested or are you committed?
That's a good question. Are you interested? Is it a good idea? Or are you committed? And notice that ED, a little grammar point, that ED makes commit an adjective, right? To describe you, to describe your feeling, to describe your state, right? So interested, if something is interesting, it's the cause of my feeling. If you are interested in something, it's your feeling. If something is interesting, ing, it's the cause of my feeling. So this is, are you interested in the results or are you committed? Both ED, your feeling, your state. Let's watch it again.
desire. And so here's my question for you. Are you interested or are you committed?
As you think about this that you know you need to handle, what are you going to do? Write down 3 strong reasons on why you know you must take action. And be explicit and descriptive in your reasons, because your reasons have power. Your reasons will drive you. When you have doubt, when your faith becomes weak, your reasons will fortify your faith.
Your reasons will fortify your faith. Fortify, powerful. Fortify means make strong, firm, solid. Your reasons will fortify your faith. Your reasons will fortify your power.
When you have a faith becomes weak, your reasons will fortify your faith. When you have an inner conversation, say, no, don't do that. Your reasons will become your rod and your staff.
This seems like it's a religious, like a preacher maybe, but so your rod and your staff, it comes from the Bible talking about the stick, right? The shepherds, the people in the fields, the farmers in the fields that were with the sheep. They have a staff, they have a rod, they have a stick. And that's what he's talking about here. It's a biblical metaphor.
Conversation, say, no, don't do that. Your reasons will become your rod and your staff to comfort you, to take you through those challenging moments. And what you will find, that when you decide to act, when you decide to take life on, when you're stretching out, when you're taking life by the collar, and you know that what you're doing is right, it gives a special meaning and power to you. You'll begin to discover some things about you that you don't know you've got when you put yourself in that type of challenging situation. Sorry to.
I couldn't stop that in that moment. I just couldn't stop it. I had to give it all to you. I'm already feeling the power. Are you? Are you? Okay. That's when you do something, right? The result. That's when.
To take you through those challenging moments. And what you will find, that when you decide to.
Here's a little conditional, but let's not study it like conditionals. This is the grammar part. No. This is what it looks like. This is what the sentence is. And then the grammar, it explains why we say it, right? So it's a pattern. That's when you decide to act. That's when you decide to act.
Act.
When you decide to take life on. To take life on is to take something on is to accept a challenge, right? You take on a challenge. You accept a challenge. Or you take on more work because you think you can handle it. You take on more responsibility because you think you can handle it. Take on. That's when you decide to take life on. You accept the challenge of life. Let's listen again. Let's go back.
Challenging moments. And what you will find, that when you decide to act, when you decide to take life on, when you're stretching out, when you're taking life by the collar.
When you're taking life by the collar. Your collar is like this idea, right? So, but a collar is also the necklace part on, like when you take a dog for a walk. If many of you have dogs and you have a collar, the necklace thing that has his tags, right? That's a collar. This is also a collar, right? Or like the collar of a shirt, of a polo. But when you're taking life by the collar, I get the idea of, like, if I'm life, you're taking them by the collar, taking control, right? It's a very empowering idea, right? If you take somebody by the collar, you're taking them and maneuvering them. And that's the idea that I'm getting here. Let's listen to this part again. When you're taking, it's all about taking your life by controlling your life. When you decide to take life on, That phrasal
life
verb.
on, when you're stretching out, when you're taking life by the collar, and you know that what you're doing is right, it gives a special meaning and power to you. You'll begin to discover some things about you that you don't know you've got when you put yourself in that type of challenging situation.
When you put yourself, and he actually said when you put yourself. You see this here, put yourself, when the first word ends in a T and the other starts with a Y, right? A U. It kind of can sound like a ch. Put yourself in that type of challenging situation. Put yourself. You could say put yourself, perfectly fine. Put yourself or put yourself. It's kind of like when you say, what are you doing? Or we can say, what you doing? Right? What you doing? What you got? What do you got? What you saying? What you saying? Right? It's kind of a dialect, but we kind of also say it because, you know, in speaking, it's easier, right? Put yourself. When you put yourself in that type of situation, when you put yourself, you follow me. When you put yourself, when you put yourself, when you put yourself in that type, when you put yourself in that type, when you put yourself in that type of challenging situation, when you put yourself, when you put yourself.
Things about you that you don't know you've got when you put yourself in that type of challenging situation.
It's all right to fail as long as you fail forward. But I need you to have heart.
It's all right to fail. It's all right. And he kind of said, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. But he really said, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. You might hear that sometimes.
It's all right to fail as long as you fail forward. But I need you to have heart. Because there's some things you just can't get without perseverance. You gotta have heart. Because sometimes you'll get hurt. And you gotta be able to bounce back.
I feel bad stopping this so much, but I can't just play the whole thing because you might as well just go to the original video. I don't want to take his video, you know. You got to be able to bounce back. Go watch this video after we explain this and you can get a little more understanding. Go watch this video. It's 3 minutes, 17 seconds, and it'll get you moving for today. You got to be able to bounce back. It says you've got to, you've gotta, you've got to, you have to. You've got to be able to bounce back. A lot of grammar in here, right? You've got to, you've gotta, you gotta. We can kind of shrink these sounds, right? You gotta be able to, be able to, be able to. A lot of pronunciation too. You gotta be able to, you gotta be able to, right? You've got to be able to. But sometimes we just say, you gotta be able to, you gotta be able to. It doesn't sound like words when you put it like that. You gotta be able to. You got to be able to bounce back. Bounce back means if you fall down, if you fall backwards, if you fall, to bounce back means to come back. It means to persevere, if you know that word. Persevere. It means to return. When you fall down, when you go backwards, you return. That's bounce back, right? You got to be able to bounce back. You got to be able to bounce back. You got to be able to bounce back. Let's listen.
You gotta have heart, because sometimes you'll get hurt, and you gotta be able to bounce back. You gotta be resilient. Sometimes you're gonna face obstacles. You might pass the test on the 4th try, not the 1st, not the 2nd, not the 3rd, and you gotta have the ability to get back up and act like you ain't never failed in the first place. Are you hearing me? If you would be willing to fight your way through it, if you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through cancer, fight your way through that academic struggle, fight your way through divorce, Fight your way through boxing. Fight your way through football. If it was easy, everybody would do it. You gotta fight your way through it. You've gotten this far. If you was gonna quit, you should have quit a long time ago. You've come too far to quit now.
I actually didn't say this one before. I'm watching this for the first time with you, and I'm getting a little emotional because these kinds of messages always they inspire me, they motivate me, and let me see. I'm getting a little emotional on you. You got to have the ability to bounce back. You got to have the ability to get back up, right? You gotta have, right? Resilient. If you know the word resilient, if you don't, look it up in word reference and it will be a good tool. Resilient, to come back when things are difficult.
Resilient. Sometimes you're gonna face obstacles.
Sometimes you're gonna face obstacles. You're gonna face. To face something is to confront something. Right? To face it, to come face to face. You're going to face obstacles, meaning you're going to confront obstacles. You're going to arrive to obstacles. You're going to face. You're going to face. You're going to face. To face something. To face something means to confront something, to encounter something, right? Face your fears is a typical expression. Face your fears. Confront your fears.
You might pass the test.
To pass the test. When you pass the test, you achieve it. To pass the test, you're successful, right? You might pass the test, and then what happens next?
On the fourth try.
Ooh, you might pass the test on the fourth try or more, right?
Not the first, not the second, not the third, and you gotta have the ability to get back up and act like you ain't never failed in the first place.
And act like you ain't never failed in the first place. You're going to have the ability to get back up. If you try something, let's apply this to your English learning, right? Let's apply this to passing an English exam. Let's apply this to passing your English class. Let's apply this to this situation we're in now. You know, you're in your house, you're stuck, things go wrong. What are you going to do? Stay in bed? You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We don't have any choice. You know, when you give yourselves no options, you know, I'm living this right now, like not just this situation, but in life. When you give yourselves no options, we don't have a choice but to succeed, you know? And to go back to this expression, like you ain't never, it's a kind of a dialect, right? Like you ain't never failed in the first place. You've got to act like you ain't never failed in the first place. And that's motivational, but you've got to act like, act like you failed, but you've learned from it. Right? That can't hold you back because, like I said,
and
you gotta get back up. You've got to have the ability. You've got to have the ability to get back up. You've got to have the ability, right? You've got to. This is a great video to learn because it repeats the same grammar a lot, right? You've got to have the ability to get back up. You got to have the ability
to get back up and act like you ain't never failed in the first place.
And act like, and conduct your life like you never failed. You ain't never, again, like I've said this before, the word ain't, good to know, good to learn, but don't use it. It's not good to say, it's good to learn and understand so you know when you hear it. But it's not good to say, especially if you're taking an exam. You'll get marked off. But you ain't never failed in the first place. Like you have never failed in the first place, right? In the first place means at all. right? Like you've never failed at all.
Are you hearing me? If you would be willing to fight your way through it, if you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through cancer, fight your way through that academic struggle, fight your way through divorce, fight your way through boxing, fight your way through football. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
If it was easy. Again, not grammatically perfect, but this should be encouragement, because if you're a grammar expert, like a lot of English students are, the grammar, it would be if it were easy. We don't always speak perfectly, and you don't have to either. Learn how to be fluent, not perfect. But if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? If whatever you're doing, whatever you're studying, whatever you're doing were easy, everybody would do it. And there's no fulfillment in that. But let's go back. To be willing to do something. To be willing to do something. Let me get some water. But to be willing to do something.
You would be willing to fight your way through this battle.
To be willing to is like to volunteer, to want to do something, to volunteer to do something, right? Be willing to fight your way through it. Be willing, not just, okay, I will, but the word to be willing gives the idea of more voluntary. To be willing to. What are you willing to do? That's a question. What are you willing to do to succeed, or to pass, or to find love, or to do whatever?
Through it, if you would be willing to fight your way through this battle, fight your way through cancer, fight your way through that academic struggle, fight your way through divorce, fight your way through boxing, fight your way through football. If it was easy, everybody would do it. You gotta fight your way through it. You got this far. If you was gonna quit, you should have quit a long time ago. You've come too far to quit now.
Okay. You've gotten this far. You've gotten this far. You've arrived. You've gotten this far. You've arrived this far. How far? However far you've arrived, right? You've gotten this far. You've arrived this far.
This far. If you was gonna quit,
here's a conditional.
Everybody would do it. You gotta fight your.
That's another conditional too. If it were easy.
Fight your way through football. If it was easy.
Right? If it was, or if it were, everybody would, right? That's a conditional. Don't worry about which conditional. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which conditional it is. The fact is, just learn this pattern. If it were, adjective, everybody would, or somebody would, verb. Right? If it were fun, I'd do it every day.
Everybody would do it. You gotta fight your way through it. You got this far. If you was gonna quit.
If you were going to quit, if you were, another conditional, same conditional form. If you were going to quit, you should have. He's going to say, you should have quit a long time ago. Right? The grammar. If you were, if subject were, the part A of the sentence, there's an A and there's a B. Put it together. If you were going to quit, you should have done it a long time ago.
You should have quit a long time ago. You gotta fight your way through it. You got this far. If you was gonna quit, you should have quit a long time ago.
That's the second half. That's the B. You should have quit a long time ago, right?
You've come too far to quit. Now you got this far. If you was gonna quit, you should have quit a long time ago. You've come too far to quit now. You need to get a reward for it.
And there it is. There it is. Let's go over here. So, if you were going to quit, you should have quit a long time ago, right? So this was a motivational video. I hope I didn't break a lot of the motivation for you, but like I said, go watch the original video now that you have a a better understanding of what you're watching, right? And you can spot some of the grammar and some of the expressions that we talked about here. So, let me ask you, what are you, aside from this whole social distancing, self-quarantine thing, what are you going through right now? What are you struggling with? What are you wrestling with? What are you fighting with? I'd like to know. I'd like to hear. I'd like you to share below, because if we all kind of see what each other is struggling with, then it kind of helps us. It kind of gives us encouragement that we're not alone, right? So, but other than that, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. If you can, then share this. I see a lot of people are posting a lot of stuff, a lot of negative stuff on social media. This is a good positive thing to share. And like the video, smash like, smash subscribe and the bell. But there we go. Thanks for watching. Keep teaching, keep learning. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.